Hello chess friends! In this video chess lesson, we will start to learn Queen Endgames. If you missed to see my lessons about Rook Endgames, there is information about that in right upper corner, and there is a playlist with all published Rook Endgames lessons. In Queen Endgames, King safety is the most important consideration. In this position, you can see that White king is sheltered from checks by its own pawns. And the only vulnerable diagonal is a8, h1 diagonal. Now the question is, what is the best move for White in this position, and can White win this? Well, the best move for White in this position is Queen b7. This move will stop all possible checks, and also it will provide its pawn the safe promotion where there is no need for help from its own king. Simply all remaining squares for the pawn, a6, a7 and a8 are now protected. Black will of course not resign, he will try to complicate somehow with some h5, h4 ideas, but there is no problem. a6, h4, a7, h3 check. Of course, White has to be careful. If he goes back and plays king g1, there will be checkmate queen d1. So he must capture the pawn. And then queen takes f2. White promotes. And now position is lost. There are two possible checks, queen f5 and queen f1. If, for example, queen f1, then just queen g2, and after queen f5, g4, and now there are no more checks and Black can just resign the game. Or very similar situation we have if queen f5 is played, g4, queen f1, queen g2 covers check, and after queen d3, again queen f3, and Black resign. This position now is much more complicated than the previous. Now White queen must stay on the second rank in order to stop checks from Black's queen. If Black queen sits in front of a-file pawn on a6 and a7, then there is no any way how to dislodge that queen, and Black has draw chances. It means that in this position, if White will try to play again queen b7 and to provide the safe path for his pawn to the promotion, it will not work in this position because White king is now vulnerable. The difference between this and the previous position is only in White's pawn structure on the king side. The pawn is on f3 and not on f2. Now after king g1, queen e1, king g2, again queen d2. And now if king h3, to avoid perpetual check, simply queen h6. And then if king g4, then queen h5, the pawn on a5 will be lost. Maybe one check first on f5 to move king back to e3, and then capturing the pawn, and the game is drawn. Or of course, if king goes back to g2, we have perpetual check. So perpetual check is the best weapon for the weaker side in Queen Endgames. And this is a good example how the weaker side can achieve draw. That is why in the starting position, the best move is queen a2 for White, to stop queen from going to d2 and creating perpetual check, and also to provide help for passed pawn on a5 to try to promote. But queen goes to a7 behind, actually in front of the passed pawn. After a6, now Black will just mark time playing king moves, king g8, queen a4, king g7, queen b5, and now White threatens to play queen b7 and dislodge the queen, but then there is good move queen d4 for Black, again threatening perpetual check, and again if queen b7, of course queen d2, there will be perpetual check and the game will be drawn now. So that is why after queen d4, maybe queen a5 again will be played, to trying to control d2 square and support its own pawn, but again queen a7, stopping this pawn to advance furthermore. Queen c3 check, king g8, queen a5, king g7. There is no any clear and visible way how white can make progress in this game, and black has excellent draw chances. In this example, we can see how white king is perfectly protected from checks, and white queen at the same time supports its pawn to the promotion. That is why this is easy win for white. Of course, the first move is queen b8, checking the king and supporting the pawn to go up to b7 square and to promote. After king f7, simply b5. White queen is on h2 ba diagonal, so there are no any possible checks. King e7, and now queen c7 check, king e6, b6. The pawn easily promotes. If, for example, the move like g5, then just b7, b8, white easily wins the game. So the only chance for black is to make check queen d6 and trade queens. But then white will use this passed pawn on b file as a decoy and will easily go with his king to the other side of the board, winning g7 and h6 pawns, and easily win this pawn endgame. Now we easily see how white king is much faster, wins both of the pawns, and easily wins the game. And this is the last position for today's lesson. Very interesting position in which we have only one pawn for white, and both of the queens are on the board. And let's see now what's the winning plan here for white. The problem is that direct promotion will not work, because black has now a chance to apply the main method for the weaker side for drawing queen endgame, which is perpetual check. Queen e2, king c3, queen e3, king c2, queen e2, so king must go to b3, and then queen c4, king b3, queen b4, king a2, queen c4. So we see how all black's checks are in that way that white's queen cannot cover any of the checks. Queen f1, queen e2, queen e3, and we see that there is no progress. It will be easy perpetual check. That is why the best move in the starting position was queen to b7. After queen to b7, it is check, king a5, logical move, then queen a7 check. And if now king goes to b4, then we have queen b6 check, and after king c4, queen b3 check, and now wherever king goes we will trade queens with queen c3. No matter will king go to c5 or d4, we play queen c3, exchange queens, and then h-pawn promotes and wins. That's why after queen a7, king must go to b5. And then queen d7 check. And again, if king goes to c4, we have queen d3 check, king b4, queen b3 check, and again, wherever king goes, queen c3 follows with the same winning idea. So after queen d7, the only move is king b4. Then queen d2 check, king a4, and this is now a critical moment, and the move which is not easy to be found really. The winning move is excellent move king b1. The idea of this move is to play queen a2 check and then queen b2 check, which will trade queens and again provide safe promotion. Very nice plan. Black will try to make checks as much as possible. Queen b5 check, and now not queen b2 because of queen f1, simply king c1. And after queen c4 check, now queen c2, counter check, and forcing to trade queens. Now black can play tricky move, king a3, which now creates very interesting stalemate if white captures black's queen, but white will not do that. White promotes now, he has another queen. And after queen f1 check, queen d1, queen c4 check, king b1, queen b4 check, king a1, great move. And the last try for black is to play queen d4, hoping that white is going to make mistake now and capture with the h-file queen, creating the stalemate. But of course that will not happen. Queen from d1 captures on d4, there is no stalemate, and white easily wins this game. That will be all for this video chess lesson. If you want to see any specific content in my video chess lessons, please place the comment below my video on YouTube. Take a look at the suggested videos and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.